This video will reveal the details of my legendary performance and devastating failure in the 2017 World Championships. Leading up to Worlds, I was incredibly confident. I had recently broken the sub-7 barrier for global 3x3 average at home, and I knew that placed me near the top of the world. I knew I had the ability to get sub-7 officially, break the Canadian national record average, and maybe even get on the podium. I showed up to the venue on the Saturday morning of Worlds and didn't really think much about it in terms of the scale of the competition. It was my first major comp, and although I knew it was a big deal, I really had no idea how intense it would end up being. A few hours went by and I started walking around to meet everyone. I was really happy to get the opportunity to start meeting all the famous world-class speedcubers who I'd known about for years. Then, I heard the announcement that my group was being called up to solve in the first round of 3x3. I grabbed my cubes and a camera, handed in my cube for scrambling, and sat down in the waiting area. I don't really remember much of what I was thinking during that round, mostly because I really wasn't thinking about anything at all. It wasn't until the moment that I stopped the timer on the fifth solve that I realized that maybe I had gotten a sub-7 average. I celebrated by jumping upwards, flipping a chair, running back to the other side of the venue, and telling my friends about my new record. I think I also signed the scorecard sometime in that frenzy, of course. I later found out that my 686 average had actually placed me in first place in round 1, and nobody else had gotten sub-7. For the rest of the day, I faced an overwhelming amount of praise and recognition. Strangers would stop me in the middle of the venue and say, "Hey, you're that fast guy, right? You won the first round of 3x3. Are you going to be the world champion tomorrow?" I had never really dealt with this kind of attention before, and to be honest, I didn't really like it. Some people started treating me differently, and their praise seemed fake and forced. Someone's speed should not be the determining factor for how you treat them. The attention also placed a lot of pressure on me to keep up that level of performance the next day. I started doubting myself. Would I be able to continue to get 6-second averages, make finals, and get on the podium? Well, Saturday night rolled by and I competed in the Nations Cup event as part of Team Canada 1. We lost in the semifinals, and I know that I had messed up a lot of my solves. The crowd was very intimidating, the pressure was on, and I knew that I had to do well if we wanted to make finals. It was fun overall, but my ego took a bit of a hit after getting 8 and 9 second solves. That night, I barely slept. I was overwhelmed with both excitement and joy, but also with fear, doubt, and negative thoughts. Sunday was the big day, day 4 of World Championships. Since I had won the first round, I was solving with the big leagues in the fast group of 3x3. For some reason, I had this idea that I absolutely had to win this round again. I would constantly check what times everyone was getting so that I knew what I had to beat. It took a long time for my name to be called, and at that point, I think everyone had already done their first solve. I was pretty sure that I heard a few people had gotten low 5s on the first scramble, so I thought that I had to do the same if I wanted to win the round. I went up to solve, inspected the cube, and tried to turn as fast as I possibly could. I messed up a single move in my solution, probably in first block, and didn't realize until much later. I had to retrace my steps and fix the error, but at that point, it was too late to recover. I got a 14-second solve, and I was absolutely crushed after that. I decided to do slow-turning safety solves just to make sure I wouldn't make the next round. I got some 8s and 7s for solves 2 to 4. As I started solve 5, I thought to myself, please don't DNF and don't get a counting 14. I ended up messing my blocks and last 6 edges really badly, getting a 12-second solve and a 9.96 average. I was devastated. Not making semifinals after winning the first round was in a way a blessing and a curse, however. It was a blessing because I got to watch the finals from my comfortable seat in the crowd. In fact, I was so nervous while just watching finals that I was shaking, so I was kind of happy that I didn't have to solve. The curse, however, was that it became a major joke in cubing for months, and I couldn't seem to get my failure out of my head. Leading up to Worlds 2019, a lot has changed. In the past 2 years, I've graduated high school, completed a year of university, taken up a new sport in powerlifting, decided to get good at one-handed, broken the one-handed world record, and much, much more. This time around, I'm doing everything differently. My practice is heavily focused on recreating competition environments using all my senses and employing strategies to ensure optimal performance. Whether it be tactical breathing, listening to affirmations, rapping along to music, dancing between solves, joking around with friends, using a giant warm-up cube, not filming solves, or smiling like a madman, I've been experimenting day in and day out to find what will work best for me. I have loved the process of treating my speed cubing training as a real-life science experiment. I know that my objective speed in terms of cubing is exactly where it needs to be right now. The only piece of the puzzle that I need is to be able to compete properly. I'm sure that the techniques I've been working on are improving my competing skills drastically. However, I am not sure how well I'll do at World Championships this year. No matter what happens, I will take pride in how far I've come and realize that it's the process that matters. At the end of the day, I'll be happy with where I end up because I know it'll be the result that I deserve from what I put in.